Hey everyone, it's Dr. Ramani. Welcome back to this YouTube channel on narcissism and narcissistic relationships and just making sense of them. And we're talking a little bit today, we're going to talk about self-gaslighting in a very specific situation where you self-gaslight yourself by blaming yourself for being tired. So this topic, it's actually very niche, but it's real, and it came out of as always, people I'm talking with. And once I had that conversation, I was actually struck by how often I do see it. And it's a pattern I see consistently, is that people in all relationships, and this goes beyond this tired piece, but people are very much blamed, or at least given the equal burden of blame for what is going wrong in a narcissistic relationship, right? We very much live in a two-to-tango relationship world. And while I recognize that it's not as simple as the narcissistic one is the one who is bad and is doing the bad things and the other person in the relationship is perfect, it's not that. The fact that most people in narcissistic relationships, A, were being emotionally abused, and B, do not understand what they were dealing with, means that the relationship was an uneven and tricky playing field for a long time. So there's no two to tango. It just was incredibly unjust. So we know that self-blame is a key element of what happens to people in narcissistic relationships. Again, I don't need to belabor that here. People in narcissistic relationships will sit and ruminate and wonder, what am I contributing to this unhealthy dynamic? What am I doing wrong? What am I working through here? Am I working through my dark side? Maybe I brought this through. Maybe I have bad intentions and I attracted this nonsense. You know the drill. And then the self-blame becomes even more basic. Things like, well, I haven't been at my best lately anywhere. And you may even think, well, I am also always exhausted and tired. And even if you do understand narcissism and how it shows up in relationships, that you may believe that you may be part of the problem in this relationship because you're always tired. In fact, it is likely that the narcissistic person may even give you jabs about, why are you always so tired? And you may feel that that's part of why your relationship is struggling, because you're always tired or depleted or exhausted. Whatever word you use to describe, you're just sort of feeling completely drained and wrung out. And what happens then is that you are willing to internalize the blame. Maybe the relationship isn't working because I'm tired, I'm always exhausted, I don't have it in me to leave or to fix it. And instead of the radical acceptance of, this whole thing is not healthy and it's not going to change, you are instead in a situation of, maybe I am part of the problem, I'm always so tired, or I don't have the energy to devote to this relationship because I'm so tired. I'm willing to bet that the relationship is what took your energy away. One thing I am always struck by is how energized people are when they are away from the narcissistic person, when the narcissistic person's not home, when you live away from them for a minute. In fact, you will see that the people who get out of these relationships for a minute become quite animated and you're having a nice time when you're not having to spend time with the narcissistic person. And then when the time is coming, maybe that you have to go back home, or they're coming back from their trip, or Sunday night comes and you have to go back to work, or the family visit is once again on the horizon, that tiredness sets in. It's not the tired of not getting enough rest or enough sleep. It's a tiredness in your soul. But the tiredness paradox is such that you start to think that you are part of the problem, saying, I'm the problem, I'm tired. So why not trace that backwards? What is the source of your tired? It may not just be the narcissistic relationship. It may also be other stressors, caregiving, child rearing, not getting enough sleep, long work hours, competing responsibilities, unrealistic demands. But ultimately, because by definition, narcissistic relationships are not supportive, and in fact, people often find that they are doing far more than their share for no other reason in these relationships than to keep the peace and get the narcissist off their back. You have multiple pathways of tired, but the helplessness and the hopelessness of the narcissistic relationship result in a sort of soul tired. But be very careful and catch yourself when you call yourself complicit in your own narcissistic abuse that's happening to you by labeling yourself as tired and saying, well, maybe this is happening because I'm not my best self in this relationship because I'm tired. I'm not sure that anyone's best self is ever going to be safe in a narcissistic relationship. And there is no nap or good night's sleep in the world that will lift that chronic tiredness you have when you're in a narcissistic relationship. You being tired is not why this relationship is unhealthy. Them being manipulative, invalidating, and betraying you is the issue. Remember that. Thanks again.